Hi there, we've made it to Ireland. We're in County Antrim, I believe, at a little place called Hillfoot Camping and Caravanning Site. Hillfoot Camping and Caravanning Site. There's been mixed reviews on the web about it, but it's absolutely brilliant. We've got a lovely flat area for parking and putting the tents up. The little room that you can just see there is showers, toilets, little sink area, little kitchen area, and a little snug room for going and sitting and watching the box or looking at maps, etc. Behind us we have the caravans, and bizarrely enough, Andy and I are the only campers here. Can't imagine why. It's a lovely, cool 12, 13 degrees, which is a lot more pleasant than it has been over the last few days at home. Sleeping has been an optional extra for the last few days, as I'm sure most of you guys and girls will be aware of. So we've pitched up both the tents there. We're going to grab a cup of tea and then we're going to head off to a place called Dark Hedges just to get us bearings for tomorrow morning. We're hoping to get there for a sunrise, if it happens. And then we're going up to the Causeway Coast and we're just going to walk along it. We're going to start actually at Giant's Causeway and let's just walk and see where we end up. But it all looks pretty spectacular in terms of scenery and what you can point a camera at. So we're looking forward to it. The weather's looking mixed, not bad for Ireland. So yeah, should be a good couple of days. Got 2 days here. Get the ferry back. We had a 6-hour ferry crossing today, which was lovely, nice and smooth, nice and calm. Yeah, I have a new sleeping bag to try out tonight. I'm a bit of a cold sleeper, so I've bought the OEX Levithian, I think it's called, which I believe is a season 3 heading up towards a season 4 bag. So I'm hoping that's going to keep me snug tonight. It's a down bag, it feels beautiful. So we'll see. So hopefully catch you guys in the morning. I'm doing this slightly back to front to what I normally do. We got here at about 4:20 with sunrise expected at about 4:45. So I've concentrated on getting my shots before I started talking to you guys. I'll just show you on the back of the screen. It's going to focus. Don't know how well they look on the back of the screen, but I've concentrated on trying to get movement in the water and trying to make sure that I don't get cut off by the tide because it is coming in. This is Giant's Causeway for those of you that have never been, and I'm sure in a minute, that's better, it's going to focus. The whole area, you can see, is full of these, is made up of these basalt columns. And there's beautiful folklore about giants, which is far too long for me to go into now. But do have a read up on it. Folklore is amazing, it's a wonderful thing. As you can see, the tide is looking like it's going to cut me off any minute, but the whole area is just stunningly beautiful. The different colours and textures in these rocks, absolutely beautiful. The sky is looking less than we would have hoped for, but better than we expected. And it's warm, it's 14 degrees, which for 5 o'clock-ish on the Northern Ireland's north coast, County Antrim, is quite impressive. So I've been shooting this morning without any filters. I used an ND Grad to start off with because I was shooting out this way where it's lighter, and the difference between the sky and the rocks was quite pronounced. But other than that, I'm just rattling off shots without any filters at all, which is giving me a nice bit of movement in the waves. Not sure if this thing's going to focus. No. Without blowing detail anywhere else. So it was well worth getting up at 3 o'clock this morning and coming down here. The plan is to spend the day around this area, walking down towards, I think it's Ballycastle and Pan's Rock. There's a nice jetty down there. The good thing about working with the Lee 10 stop is even in harsh daylight, you can get some nice long exposures, turn them into black and white, which works really well. I think I'm going to leave this here for now and come back to you later because the tide is fast coming in and I really don't want to get cut off. So I'll catch up with you in a while. Well, I've come round to the other side of the main area where the causeway goes out to a little bay. And I've been sat watching a seal play. It was too far out, unfortunately, for me to get a shot of him. And we're a bit more sheltered from the wind here. When I was showing you the images before that I got, I didn't really go into compositions. This is one of those places where I struggle for compositions because there is just so much going on. There's so much foreground interest. There's so much happening in the sea. The waves are crashing in. The sky is a bit black. So I've got a few images and I'll post up my favourite ones after this section of the vlog. But I wanted to just show you the area. I love milky water, and again at the moment around here I'm shooting without filters because where these waves are coming in you couldn't get any milkier if it tried. I'm getting just enough of a long exposure to get the water trailing off the rocks as it's crashing in, but it's creating a huge white area here, which is making the overall exposure quite difficult because you've got huge dark areas and huge white areas, which is a struggle for the sensor on the camera. Human eye can see it. The sensors on cameras aren't, well, there's Andy up the top there, aren't that advanced. So I'm quite happy that I've got a couple of decent shots without using any filters and still kept that milky water, but getting a bit of motion in the water as well. And the sea is quite a surprising blue colour, bluey green. Whee! I think I shall be moving on from here fairly soon because, as I say, the tide is still coming in. So I've got a few compositions that I'm happy with. The current one that I've been shooting has, has been using this rock and then trying to get in this area as well to show the detail in the columns. And you can see where the water comes up, the black mark is how high it gets. And then you've got grass and areas that haven't been touched by the water. So the weather has been tremendous. We were expecting rain. We didn't expect sunrise, we got a little bit, nothing major, but we haven't had any rain, which is great. So now we're going to try and walk back up the Causeway Road, go and get a cup of tea and then head off and see what else we can find. This time, I'll catch you later. Just wanted to show you the next stop on the Causeway Coast for us, which is Carrick-a-Ree, which is an amazing rope bridge. It spans a 100-foot drop chasm between the mainland and this rock that we're perched on. The history is more involved, but essentially it was fishermen that used it first of all, fishermen that created it. It's a haven out here for birds, and the sun has now come out and the sky is bluing up. There's no rain and the scenery is pretty damned amazing. The sea is just an amazing blue colour where the sun catches it. So we're just stopping for a little rest up here, watching the birds. There's gulls and razorbacks or razorbills. I'm not very good with birds. Yeah, well worth the jaunt down. Not entirely sure it's worth the jaunt back up because it's all uphill. decision has been made that we're going to head to Giant's Causeway for sunset tonight because it's apparently going to be worthwhile. Dark Hedges is the plan for sunrise tomorrow. But on the way to the Causeway, we've called in at a place called, or it's near Corrymeela, and a rock called Pan's Rock, which I'd love to show you. However, it's at the top of these rocks here, and there's lots of water the other side, and I'm probably going to get wet. So essentially it's a rock that stands out in the ocean, and it has a face carved in it. Now I know there's some folklore behind it, but I haven't read that bit yet, so I'll leave you guys to investigate that one. This sea is still surprising me. It turns a really beautiful aqua blue when the light hits it, and it's all white and fluffy on top, and you can see it's just hitting up on these rocks at the side. Here we go. So I fired off a couple of long exposures down here using a very simple composition, which I'll get the camera into position. Essentially that. I had the 10 stop on for one shot, and that just smoothed the water out completely. And then I put a 0.6 neutral density on and a 0.6 grad to get a bit more movement in the water, particularly where it's running back down the rocks that you can see here. I was shooting at f/16 just to try and slow the exposure down a little bit, the usual ISO 100. And I had the white balance set to 10,000 kelvins because that saved me messing around in Photoshop. The other item of interest here is that pier. It's actually a little bridge which leads out to an island over here. And I was talking to somebody earlier, and he believes it might have been put there for fishermen. I'm jolly glad they did. So I did one long exposure straight down the pier or jetty, whatever you like to call it. We had a little bit of movement in the clouds in the sky. As you can see, they're looking a little bit ominous at the moment, the clouds, but it has been quite pleasant. And then a German couple decided to walk down in front of me just as I was doing it. He did have the decency to ask me what I was doing, and then said, well, I'm walking down here anyway. Luckily, the Lee 10 stop gets around that sort of thing because they're moving. The 10 stop just blurs them out altogether, so you can barely tell that there was anybody there. But ignorant is one way to describe it. I guess because I do photography, if there's another photographer about, I'll try desperately hard not to get in his shot, or at least wait until he's finished shooting before I go and walk in front of him. Hey ho!